everybody, welcome back to a brand new landscape photography vlog. We're back at Evangola State Park, and as you guys probably saw from the B-roll, it is a picture-perfect winter day here in Western New York, and just take a look at this. Yeah, this, when I was talking about in my last video, in regards to the project I'm working on, these are the type of conditions that I've been looking for. We were lucky to get them briefly in that last video, but yesterday, which I didn't film, because it was way windier yesterday than it is today, believe it or not. And today have just been absolutely perfect. And they fall on my days off, so like, it doesn't get any better than this. Honestly, I'm so excited. I already got a good handful of photos on my way in, and the Lake Effect snow band that was kind enough to hang around while I was on my way in has now shifted south, and I try and show you guys, but really dark mass of cloud right over there. So either that's the Lake Effect snow band, actually that might be it there. As you can see in the sky, how you kind of got this break here, the blue and the dark over there. I think the forecast is saying the Lake Effect snow band was supposed to shift to the north. And I think it's done that. So if it doesn't swing back our way, we probably won't get any more snow, which is not a big deal, because the wind is doing a great job at creating atmosphere by blowing around all the snow that has just fallen. And it looks magical out here. It's a little brutal, but we can make it work. I am going to go down to the beach, and yeah, I'm going to try to film some B-roll down there. I'm not even going to bother with this camera because I know with the wind, the audio is going to be horrible quality. I know you're saying, why didn't you just use your lav mic? I am worried about ruining it because of how much snow is going to be blowing on and potential water from waves shooting up from the ice volcano and spraying onto the beach. I don't want to take any chances. If I have to do it, I'll do some voiceover. Yeah, I think that's going to be the only way this turns into a vlog, and that is the main goal. I'm just looking out there. You can see all those trees that are snow blasted on one side, giving them some great definition and structure. I don't know how well it's going to pick up on this camera, but... And then as that snow just gets picked up and carried away, those trees just kind of like phase in and out of existence, and it is just mesmerizing to watch. This would be where I'd pull out the 600, try to make some things work, but I don't think this is going anywhere. The other hope I had is that the sun would peek through, and giving us, with what we have plus some sunlight, would look absolutely phenomenal. You get that diamond dust look, but the cloud wall right here, I don't know how likely that is to happen, but I'm going to make my way down to the beach. I'm going to keep my camera in the bag for a little while. If I need to film any B-roll, I'll just use my phone. And yeah, wish me luck, and I'll see you guys on the beach. And as you can see, lots of ice volcanoes lining the shores, and these ice volcanoes are a lot bigger. And I'm not a scientist, but I think the reason they're a lot bigger this year is because we just have had stronger storms, which create stronger winds and bigger waves, which I think just result in bigger ice volcanoes. And the one difference between today and yesterday is yesterday, the ice that you see behind the volcanoes, that was not there. That was all just open water, and there's massive waves crashing up and through the ice volcanoes, and I got some pretty amazing photos of that happening. I mean, there are very few words that I can use to accurately describe how it feels to be out here under these conditions, witnessing these otherworldly sights. It's just absolutely magical. I mean, like, it feels like I am at the edge of the world. These ice volcanoes, with all their textures and details, they kind of remind me of distant mountains. Almost like the alluvial fans that you kind of see in Death Valley. It's one of the things that's kind of popping into my head. Especially with the sloping angle and the color variation and the patterns and everything. It just looks absolutely phenomenal. And speaking of patterns, I was taking a few photos of these here. I was very careful not to step in them like I did over there, but these ones here look absolutely phenomenal. All the way along this bank here, and I bet you there's tons more right now with bluffs. But yeah, I'm just I put my camera back in the bag. I'm trying to take shelter in this little outcome. It's working for the most part. Trying to keep my camera as dry as I possibly can. Air Rocket is coming in very clutch for that. Just getting all the snow off the lens and all the other parts. It is weather sealed, but again, I don't want to push it to its absolute limit. Done that a few times already. Seen a little condensation inside the lens, but usually it goes away pretty quickly. But yeah, I'm just gonna sit here and enjoy this for a little while. I'm guessing the snow band is back on top of us. I might have had it wrong. I thought the snow band was to our north, but it might have been to our south, because that snow came in from my left over here as opposed to my right. But either way, it's still fantastic. A lot of the roads were clear on the way in here. It's not snowing at a super extreme rate, like, you know, nothing crazy, like 6 inches per hour. I think it's about an inch, maybe a little less than an inch an hour, so it's nothing crazy. Just like the density of the snowfall. I mean, it's just the lack of visibility. Maybe if the band shifts a little bit further south again, maybe we'll get some sun to pop out. But right now, I'm pretty happy with what I've got thus far. Like, if I get nothing else today, I'd be perfectly content with that. Because it's absolutely gorgeous out here. I might walk down to the other end of the park. The only reason I don't want to do that is because a lot of these areas probably have not been shoveled or plowed, rightfully so. This stuff just happened. And it's going to be quite a trek to get over there, to say the least. So we'll see what happens. So another look one more time at this incredible landscape. What a gorgeous day here. So I spent a pretty good amount of time down on the beach, waiting out the wind and the snow, and I think most of that has subsided now. So I'm just kind of taking a break, trying to get out of the wind under some shelter here. It's not the best shelter, but it's making do. Put the camera back in the bag, dusted all the snow off of it, and I'm just kind of sitting here contemplating, really. I know I've talked about the boat project that I'm working on. I mentioned it, I think, briefly at the end or during my last video. And I think I talked about a link, which you can actually still go to on my website, where I talk briefly about what the project is about. But lately, I've been trying to come up with a direct vision for what this project is about. Because when I came up with this project maybe a month or two ago, I didn't really have a set goal. I just knew I wanted to do something with winter photos, mostly themed, kind of in a darker, more moody, light, more desolate scenes, kind of like the stuff I've been shooting today and the last time I vlogged. And that's really all I had. It's kind of vague, but lately it's actually spending time in this environment and being able to contemplate in that environment and think about things. It's kind of helped to actually channel the idea into something more clear cut. I'm not going to go into detail about it now, just because, I don't want to take a bunch of time rambling, because I'll eventually make some posts about it later on. I'll probably put together a little trailer about it too, honestly, for social media, which I have one made, but I never published it, and I'm glad I didn't, because I have a lot more that I can add to it now. But yeah, it's almost like a therapeutic thing, this project. I feel like the images I've captured and the time that I've spent outdoors in nature during the wintertime in moments like these has really helped me to process things in my life, good and bad. And the other thing too, with times of the year like this, you have, seasonal affective disorder, seasonal depression, whatever you want to call it. And, everybody's affected by that stuff, myself included. Lack of sunlight, 4 o'clock sunsets, right? If you live in the Northeast of the United States, you know what that's like. Can't imagine what it's like for people who experience 24-hour darkness for 6 months. I don't know if I want to know, but it definitely shifts your mindset. And I think I've been able to use that. I don't try to ignore it. I don't try to act like I'm not affected by those things. And I'm glad I have photography as an outlet to help kind of process those feelings and emotions. And it comes out in my work and the photos that I shoot, and that affects like the stories I want to tell. They might be a bit more dark, a bit more moody than what other people might find photogenic during this time of the year. And I think that's kind of what makes it unique. It's not just here's a bunch of winter photos. It's more so, and I love how I said I wasn't going to go into it, but I am. But what else am I going to do? I guess right now I'm just kind of sitting here. But it's kind of helped to mold the idea of the entire project into something I feel like a bit more personal, a bit more deeply connected to myself, something a bit more special than, again, like I said, something more surface level. And that's really what I want. I don't want to just produce surface level things that don't really have a lot of meaning behind them. And yeah, just using those things, right? My own personal experiences, my own personal journey, being out in moments like these, the feelings, the emotions, how I process them, how that kind of shows in my work. And I'm very excited. I'll stop rambling now. I'm very excited for this project. It's like the first real project I think I've actually worked on. I wouldn't really count my portfolio book because that's just kind of highlights and what's the word I'm looking for? Like the greatest hits, if you will. This is something that has more of a direct focus and a direct goal. And I'm very excited about it. I don't think it's going to, I should put it this way. I don't really have high hopes, nor do I expect it to, like, sell a bunch. Because I'm already still very small in terms of presence in social media. I'm also just doing it myself to prove that A, that I can do it, and B, that I want to do it. Because this also kind of stems back to what I said about if I want to make this photography thing turn into something, I have to be more progressive in doing things like this. And I also have to be more progressive in creating bodies of work that are not just Instagram and Facebook posts. I know that seems obvious, but at least for me, working on the side and trying to do this and, just trying to get by and pay bills, like, it's very easy to get caught in the trap of spinning the slot machine every time you post a photo and hoping something happens, whatever that something is, and it never does. So I'm trying to take steps this year to be a bit more aggressive and to do things that make that dream a reality. Because I really can't see myself doing much else, honestly. This is who I am, if it isn't already evidently clear. But, yeah. I don't know what time it is. That's probably a good thing. I'm going to move over to the other side of the park now and check some things out. I also wanted to say it's kind of crazy to me how today is almost like playing out exactly identical to a shoot I did almost like a year ago. Almost to the date. Like the way the conditions have played out. The wind, the snow, the ice volcanoes, the break in the storm afterwards, like it's almost playing out exactly the same. And another thing I've been kind of keeping my eye on is way out on the horizon over there's a bit of an orange glow. I don't know if that's going to turn into anything. I don't have my hopes up for anything, but we'll see. And like I said, I'm going to keep things moving here because I know I'll be kicking myself if I don't keep taking advantage of these moments. So that's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I figured I'd take some time to talk more about the World Gone Cold project while I have the time too. So thank you for listening. Hope you didn't skip past that. If you did, I get it. But yeah, more details will be coming about that probably in early spring, maybe late spring, like, because I still have to do a bunch of curation, writing, obviously. I gotta figure out how where the ebook's gonna go, like on a platform. And I'll probably have almost 150, 160 images, and I definitely want to get that down to maybe 60 on the low end, 80 on the high end images. So I'm gonna have a lot of culling to do, which I'm not very good at, that kind of stuff. I don't have a lot of experience doing it, but I digress. Let's get out there. Little update. Let's get back out there. I'm gonna head straight that way. That is what I'm gonna do. I also hope you guys could hear me while I was talking there. But I mean, look at that. Look at the snow-painted trees. Things just kind of disappear after a certain point. I love that. It's like fog, but it's a little different. Don't get me wrong, I love fog, but this is just a whole different ball game. Something incredible just happened. I decided to go for photos first, but the sun peeked through right there. It's just setting now. But earlier, it wasn't like super bright shining through, but the glow was a lot brighter. And I ended up grabbing a few stills. I got as low to the ground as I could. Got a couple with that tree there behind me, but ultimately I wanted to go for the ice volcanoes. I'm not sure if my perspective being a little higher up is going to help those photos, but man, was that really cool. What a way to end off this evening, man. Holy smokes.
As expected, my film camera died on me while I was trying to film the outro. So I'm just filming a little impromptu outro here before I go in and grab some food. Excellent outing today. Really have been wanting a day like today and needing one, so that felt great. Hope you guys enjoyed the images and the videos and everything like that. Again, check out my website, my social medias, all that down in the description below. And thanks for watching. See you guys around.